2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I'm your host, Marquise, and accompanied by my wonderful co-host, Danielle Diva. Big Tex is in the house. Big Tex, what's up, man? And we have our special guest, Paul Roberts, who has been telling us all kinds of very interesting and extraordinary things, and I'm intrigued, and I know that you are too, because the chat section is blowing up. So we welcome back everyone listening all over the internet, all of our on the digital side. We welcome our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch viewers. And don't forget, you can check out our archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rocking Out to Bumblefoot. And don't forget to read up on Captain Shirks, SOR Newswire, and so much more. So, Paul Roberts, please, let's not, we don't want to waste any time, because the things that you said last time, I feel like there's not enough time. I feel like I would like to have a conversation that goes beyond this. This is not enough for me. You said so many things. We don't even. So let's just get into the next topic for now. And if you can stay for a third hour, that would be freaking awesome, because I have some more questions for you. So Danielle, take over, please. I'm not gonna say anything.
Thank you very much. Let's make a blast in the universe, everybody. Welcome back to the second part of the Spaced Out Radio programming. So we are continuing our interview. Paul, we stopped at another amazing woo topic, and that would be UFO. I know you did a lot of research regarding this area. This is also your cup of tea. Can you tell us a little bit about this phenomena? And can you also tell me, recently we've been seeing so many encounters, so many different kind of stories, even coming on the TV, radio. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, and the rest of us, that we are getting closer and closer to the closure?
Disclosure? Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the government is basically almost admitting, well, when they're saying, I don't know what it is, and I'm not saying it's not extraterrestrial, they're actually, in a way, saying, yeah, it is. It's something, is beyond there. It's extraterrestrial. So I think we're getting so close to disclosure. It's going to happen. I hope it happens in our lifetime, that we can actually see that and say, hey, we're not alone. We've never been alone. So it's like, it's amazing. And I've done investigations at Skinwalker Ranch and Area 51.
Yes.
And when I became a paranormal investigator, we would have these meetings, and the investigators go, oh, one of my dreams is to go to Skinwalker Ranch, or one of my dreams was to go to Area 51. Well, I sat there and I said, well, let's actually do it. I mean, all you have to do is get in a car and drive over there, So that's basically what we did. I mean, Area 51, that was very interesting. No, I didn't go inside Area 51, but I was outside of the gates. And one of the things that they take it very serious at Area 51, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so I'm over there snapping photos and everything else, and I'm looking through my binoculars, and I see this guy in camis, and he's looking at me with binoculars. I said, okay.
Oh my God.
I said, security is keeping an eye on us. And then he has a sniper rifle, and he starts pointing it towards me. And I said, they are very, very serious. So I said, we need to go. And one of my investigators, no, I don't want to go. I said, we have to go. I mean, they're pointing a weapon at us. They're very serious. And she was talking about she wanted to go past the gate. I said, you're crazy. No, they just like that sign says, they'll shoot you. But anyway, as we were leaving, two of the investigators claimed that they saw a UFO on the hillside. I didn't see it. We got to camp out at the alien parking lot, which the people that were really hospitable, they said, yeah, you can go ahead and put your your tents up here and everything else. They even took us out to an abandoned village out there, and they didn't have any answers on why the village was abandoned, but we got to do like an investigation because they said the place was haunted. And we got a couple of EVPs, electronic voice phenomena and stuff like that. So, but we weren't there for ghosts. We were there for UFOs. So we had a night watch. 3 investigators claimed that they saw starlight type UFOs zipping around in the sky. They didn't capture it on camera, and I did not see it. But I did do some interviews with 2 people at the Alien. One was a patron. He goes in there a lot, and he claimed that he worked at S4 and that Bob Lazar actually worked at S4. His job going into S4, like me, I was in military intelligence. You have to have a need to know. So here I am in a building, and I can go into one room, but I can't go into the next room because I don't have the need to know to go into the next room. And basically, he was in one section where it had a lot of computers and stuff like that, but he wasn't able to go into these other areas where Bob Lazar was at because he wasn't a scientist, but he was very knowledgeable about computers. But what he could testify is that he did see Bob Lazar at excuse me, S4 Area 51. So that was interesting. And then we interviewed a lady who said that she swears up and down, but she saw a type of craft, small craft, and it went eye level to her. And there was a pilot, a human-looking pilot inside, and he waved at her. And then he zipped off straight up into the sky at an incredible speed. So that was her claim. And so we did soil samples over there, and the soil samples, according to this one UFO group that we sent the soil samples to, they had to test it, but they said that the ground was eradicated. So, so that was kind of interesting too. So that was Area 51. And then we did Skinwalker Ranch. And yeah, and you know, and again, those investigators around the meeting table, they fantasized about going to Area 51, fantasized about Skinwalker Ranch. Well, when I got there, I said, let's just do it. And so we went, I drove over to Skinwalker Ranch. I brought 2 investigators with me. When we got there, it was like this huge storm. So we're trying to put up our tent. Now, I wasn't actually at the ranch, but I was in the valley where the ranch was at. And the valley itself has all types of paranormal phenomena. So we're setting up the tent. This storm was going on. We heard this one screeching sound that was just really weird. It's hard to explain, but it's something that I've never heard. And like I said, I've worked at Department of Fish and Wildlife, and I've heard all types of different animals' noises and screeches and everything else. This was a screeching noise that I've never heard. I tried to record it, but the pitter-patter of the rain just blocked out everything. So I wasn't successful with that. But one of the things that I saw, which could be included as natural phenomenon, is I saw ball lightning. Basically, the sky, if I can describe it, it seemed like this electricity all started turning around like that, and then slammed to the ground and just broke up in a million pieces. And it was in the shape of a ball. It was like a bowling ball, but it was all full of energy, electrical energy. So, and it did do some rolling and then exploded. So that was something was really unusual. and that was in the valley of Skinwalker Ranch.
I did a research personal Skinwalker Ranch, and it's quite amazing area. You can never stop digging there. But I also find out that it's very connected to Aboriginal people, their tradition, their beliefs, and protecting the area, and that they did a lot of their, we should say, ancient craft, or the way of their believing and protecting people and the way of the living. What do you think? Is there some kind of, you can say, spells or the craft that ancient people or Aboriginal people did place upon that area? Basically, because many people would also say, Skinwalker Ranch is really connected to Aboriginal people, the way of the living, and then when the settlers came, of course, they were trying to take over, and that's when the Wendigo came. But if anybody knows the story about Skinwalker Ranch, then they will also know why it had that name. So what do you think about that? Aboriginal people that live in that area and Skinwalker Ranch. What kind of connection did you find out? Does it have a big, basically, impact on this phenomenon?
Well, the Native Americans that settled in that land have said that the land was mystical or it was even cursed. And I believe, like Skinwalker Ranch, where it's located at, it's on a ley line. And a ley line is a line that is full of energy. That's why you see UFOs and everything else on ley lines, because they pick up on that energy. It's sort of like their gas. They're gassing up. They go to a volcano and they gas up even more and take off wherever they're headed for. So, like in my book, I mentioned the Monk's Mound, and it's an ancient site and was built by the Natchez Indians. It was in Kentucky, and at this location, 20,000 people vanished. Where did they go? And who built the Monk's Mounds? So, and they, at this location, they have a thing called the wood hinge. It's like Stonehenge, but it's all made of wood. And a lot of people believe, your various paranormal investigators, some of your scientists believe that Monk's Mound is built on a ley line, and UFOs are actually seen there too. So there's a lot. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Monk's Mound, and that's in my book. I go into detail in my book about that, and
and it's quite amazing. I had an honor. I'm gonna tease everybody to see a little bit more about this book, because I had a file in my hand, so I can tease everybody. So I must say it's amazing piece of work. It's a masterpiece. And Marquise, I did send you on the messenger again. You can share it where people can find this amazing book and order it too, because Paul just did put so much stuff inside, and it's just full of knowledge, wisdom, and so much mystery that people can dig into it and find answers themselves, or even go to those places. You never know. Like King Katura is saying, I'm indigenous, and if I shouldn't go there, something else is probably going on. And why not? Maybe also inspire some people with your books to go deeper and do the research, because that's how people feel when they read something. That's how I do my research sometimes. I dig, and then I go like, okay, maybe Paul went here. I want to go a little bit deeper there too. But you're talking also about missing people. But didn't we find that with Maya and Incas, Aztecs? Many of these places actually, we are talking about entire cities missing. Do you think that we are again talking about portals, and that these, we can call God, just like Marquise mentioned, or whatever belief system they had, they took them away, far away? Did they actually take them, or do you think they went somewhere? Because there's no any evidence, there's no any bones, there's nothing. So I'm just wondering, is it possible that they went to another dimension? What do you think about that?
well, in the Bible, it talks about the rapture, where people are disappearing, vanishing, and going somewhere. So if the rapture has any truth to it, then it's possible that extraterrestrials are taking these people and placing them someplace else. There's a lot of stories about various civilizations that just vanish. And so what's going on? Are they being beamed up to the mothership and taken somewhere? Or are they being pushed and herded into a portal where they vanish? So something is definitely going on. And there's talking about a future event where there's going to be a rapture where various people vanish in front of your eyes. So let's see if it happens.
Yeah, it's possible. I believe, of course, everybody has their own belief system and they're free to think of, but I also believe in that too. Area 51, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you so much. We are happy that you are supporting us and supporting SOR because that's why we are here for you guys. And Paul, what also impressed me a lot of times, when you talk about your work, you are really passionate and you are honest. And what I love about you say, okay, I didn't see it, but somebody else did see it. So how do you know, for example, let's say, I'm going to use myself. Okay, Daniel did see extraterrestrials today. So how do you know that I actually didn't fake it and that my story is real, that you can share it in your book or you can share it with others?
Well, it's just like, let's say Marquise tells me that he saw a leprechaun. I just have to go with his word and try to find the evidence that Marquise actually saw that leprechaun. So if I don't get the evidence, well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. And like I'll say in my article, I didn't get any evidence, but I'm not saying that there's no demon in the house or there's no ghost in the house. Maybe it's hiding. And one of the things I've always said is that ghosts don't perform on demand. They're not circus clowns. They don't perform on demand. So if it's hiding, it's hiding. So if I don't get the evidence,
I believe that too. And with today's technology, a lot of times people can do like hoax. They can make the spirits appear, extraterrestrial having coffee with them or whatever. And I'm sure that with you, you have your team that will tell you, okay, this video is fake, or this basically photography is made up or whatever. Because with your books, I found them really fascinating. I have two of them, and I'm quite impressed, and I cannot wait to read the third one that I have in my possession because I know you had over 80. But I also want to mention something. You also, again, in this last book, mentioned the stories about extraterrestrials on Mount Everest. Now I want to say this so people can know, many times we do have extraterrestrials showing up where there's always portals, orbs, where there's Bigfoot, there is Yeti. We can say even different kind of creatures like Wendigo. So do you think that maybe all of these creatures, beings, however you want to call them, are actually connected somehow?
I believe they're connected. I believe they're various type of interdimensional type beings that go from our reality to their reality and back and forth. Just like the Loch Ness Monster, um, they don't seem like they can ever get any kind of evidence, but they get some kind of photo evidence of this creature, but they don't find no dead carcass or anything like that. Because it's going from its dimension to our dimension. So, yeah, I do believe it is connected. Also, too, I want to mention that as a paranormal investigator, when I first came on board with HPI, before I became the owner of HPI, I also, too, had my investigators investigate serial killer victim sites. And we've done a lot of that. We did Charles Ng and Leonard Lake. I don't know if you are familiar with them, but they had a cabin out in.
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. They had a cabin out in Wilseyville, California, and one of the investigators was talking about Leonard Lake and Charlesine, and I said, well, let's just go there. So we actually went to the site. They tore down the cabin, but when we got to the site, one of our psychics says that there's some strong energy right here. And when I snapped the photo, we had a picture of a mist that was almost in human shape of a woman. So a lot of the negative energy from these serial killer victim sites, the energy still remains there, the residual energy, because it was so negative. And we did I-5 Strangler, Roger Kibbe. And Roger Kibbe,
Yes.
he parked alongside the road over on Sutterville near the Sacramento River. And he had a woman there, and he pulled out a pair of scissors out of the glove department and started snipping at her dress. And that's where she died at. So when we were taking pictures out in this area, one of the pictures was just mind-blowing. But it was a picture of the Sacramento River, and hovering over the river was a black orb. And I believe that black orb was possibly the soul of that woman that was killed there by the I-5 Strangler, Roger Kibbe.
I've got a couple questions for you.
Please go ahead, Marquise.
Before
You always have amazing questions.
Thank you. So the first question is, why is it that you think that we don't see that the phenomena, and when I say phenomena, I kind of umbrella all of this different, activity. UFOs, ghosts, and demonic, I think it's all under the same umbrella. Why is the phenomena doesn't appear, for example, as a donut that's riding a duck, or I don't know, something that's just so bizarre, so irrelevant to our experience. How come most of the experiences that we have with this phenomena is relevant to what our experience is in this life, versus something that is so absurd that it would be unrecognizable to us as consistent with our reality?
That's a good one, Marquis. That reality, the paranormal reality, is so beyond our comprehension, in our thoughts and in our mind and everything else. It's really hard for us to comprehend it and to find and seek the answers that we really want. We're not getting those true answers. We don't have extraterrestrials coming down to Earth and saying, okay, here we are. We're kind of left guessing. And it's going to be like that for a long time till that day that we do have disclosure. We'll have some of the answers. And it's just, right now, it's so confusing and everything else.
Right.
And you have all these different type of paranormal investigators out there, and some of them are just kind of being led by the blind. They're just going with it. And I always tell my people, I said, if the evidence isn't there, then, what we have is a question mark, So if it's, we always try to strive for that evidence.
Yeah. I think it's all, I mean, first of all, your experiences they're phenomenal. They're amazing. And I commend you, because I don't have the bravery that you do to engage with the phenomena like that. But I digress. My next question is about this idea of, the idea that that people, when they die, their consciousness lives on. There's a lot of focus recently within the UFO community of the idea that our consciousness continues after death. Leslie Kean has written a book about it, which is a really good book, by the way. I haven't gotten all the way through it, but it's really good. And not only Leslie Kean, but many of the main UFO people in the forefront are actually talking about consciousness being connected to the phenomena, meaning UFOs and the like. Do you think that, because you mentioned just a moment ago that this orb could have been an apparition or I guess, a remnant of a person that has passed. You think that people, when they die, they linger afterwards, and they appear to us as orbs and shadows and so on?
Hey, Marquise, you hit it on the nose. Okay, let me show you about reincarnation. My theory on it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, when we die, that energy goes somewhere. Energy, you cannot destroy it. And Russian scientists have actually taken pictures of a person who just died, and they see a mist coming out from the forehead, and the mist kind of just dissipates and goes somewhere. That mist is basically probably your aura, your soul.